Today is the deadline for all high-ranking police officials to submit their courtesy resignations. This is part of efforts to cleanse the police force of those with links to the illegal drug trade. Joining us now for updates is police spokesperson Jean Fajardo. Ma'am Jean, maraming salamat for joining us. Have all the remaining officers who have been holding out resigned today?
On the closing of office hours today, Sir Rico, only 7 have yet to submit their courtesy resignation.
Why have they held out? Could it be because of their retirement? They'll be retiring in a few days, a few weeks, or months. Because if they resign, will they still receive their pension?
That is correct, Sir Rico. That is primarily the reason why they opted not to submit their courtesy resignation, because the 7 senior officers will be retiring in the coming days, if not weeks, and that is precisely their main argument that once we submitted our courtesy resignation, and if ever the President accepted the same, it will just constitute as our retirement. Thus, there's no reason for them to, according to them at least, there's no reason for them to submit resignation, since they will be bowing out from the PNP service in the coming days.
But what is the stand right now, Ma'am Jean, of the PNP leadership for those who haven't resigned, these 7 senior officers?
The 7 senior officers who opted not to submit their courtesy resignation will be allowed to retire in the coming days, and all their benefits will be given to them as part of their entitlement for their long years of service. However, this will not preclude the 5-man committee in conducting assessment and evaluation if needed, further investigation, and if there are evidence that will be established against any of the senior officer, whether they submitted the courtesy resignation, and including those who did not submit, then the 5-man committee will submit the recommendation for possible filing of a criminal case. And if that happens, then their retirement benefits may be held in abeyance pending the resolution of the possible criminal case that may be filed against those who will be found liable for involving in illegal drugs activity.
So, ma'am, when will this 5-man committee start their investigation, and when will they end their investigation and come up with their final results from their investigation?
We expect that if not tomorrow, in the coming days, our Honorable SILG Attorney Benjamin Abalos will be naming the 5-man committee, so that upon the completion of the 5-man committee, they will immediately convene and lay down all the processes and procedure that shall be undertaken for the purposes of evaluation and investigation. And as what the SILG pronounced earlier, that it will probably take 2 to 3 months before the 5-man committee will finish their assessment and evaluation, and all their findings will be submitted to the NAPOLCOM, who in turn will conduct a review, and whatever the findings of the 5-man committee and the review that will be conducted by the NAPOLCOM, these findings and recommendation will be eventually reach the office of our President, and the President will be the one to decide whom the courtesy resignation will be accepted. All
right. Thank you so much for the clarification, Ma'am Jean. Let's now take a look at this ICC probe, which was announced by the court last week. How does the Philippine National Police view this ICC investigation into Manila's drug war?
Well, the PNP has been very clear in their position with respect to the ICC investigation. And what we are asking the ICC is they should give due respect to the system being implemented in the Philippines. We have a functioning criminal justice system. If there are some question with respect to the anti-drug illegal operation conducted by the PNP and other law enforcement agency of the government, then we have a judicial process that can be used, and there are legal remedies available to those who they think their rights were violated. And the PNP has always been cooperative, particularly on the ongoing investigation being conducted by the Department of Justice.
The PNP leadership, ma'am, has threatened to arrest ICC investigators coming into the country if there are grounds. What are these grounds?
I think, Sir Rico, the PNP has not categorically stated that we will be effecting arrest. I think there is, if I'm not mistaken, it was the statement of the Senator Enrile. But we have to be, we should give respect to Senator Enrile, where is he coming from when he made that statement. But on the part of the PNP, unless there are overt acts to be committed by any person for that matter that would be constitute violation of any existing laws in the Philippines, then the PNP will enforce the law. But unless there are overt acts that would constitute crimes, then the PNP will not arrest anyone.
How would you define overt acts, Ma'am Jean? What are these overt acts?
When our revised penal code and even our special laws define what constitute overt acts that would qualify them to be classified as offense or crime. So unless there are overt acts, then we don't talk of any arrest that will be made by the PNP. Like I said, Sir Rico, I don't recall any statement coming from the PNP that we will be arresting any members of the ICC with respect to their desire to conduct investigation. But like I said earlier, Sir Rico, I hope the ICC will give due respect to the sovereignty and jurisdiction of Philippine government with respect to the alleged criminal offense committed by some government forces relating to our anti-illegal drugs campaign.
Fair enough, Ma'am Jean. But can you briefly tell us what is the latest on the drug war investigation and the cases?
We already submitted some documents requested by the Department of Justice, who is now conducting investigation, particularly on the 52 cases submitted to them, and that involves at least around 150 police officers. And this is the position really of the PNP to allow the Department of Justice to finish and terminate the ongoing investigation, and to show to not only to the ICC, to other interested parties to respect the ongoing investigation, and the DOJ, no less than the OJ, committed that they will file the necessary criminal cases if there are probable cause to be established in the conduct of their investigation.
But the ICC says, Ma'am Jean, only low-ranking policemen have been targeted by the anti-drug campaign and the cases that are being investigated by the PNP. What has the PNP done to identify, arrest, and even prosecute high-value targets?
I don't know what is the source of ICC, Sir Rico, but on the record of the PNP, we've been conducting review and assessment and investigation with respect to a police operation conducted by the PNP, particularly those that resulted in serious injuries and death. And some of them are senior, some of them are high-ranking officer, junior officer, not only those non-commissioned officers. And this is a continuing process on the part of the PNP that from the time from July 2016 up to this date, we have a lot of police commission officer and non-commissioned officers that have been penalized for various offenses, to include drug-related cases.
Thank you so much for your insights and for shedding light on the cases. Thank you so much, PNP spokesperson Jean Fajardo.